seemed like for it.
All right, welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. Big enough to carry the largest selection of boats in the area, yet still local and family-owned enough that it means a lot to them to pay attention to detail, to give you personal service. For more than 40 years, there has been no better place to buy a boat than Madisonville Marine. All right, counting down biggest heroes and villains, we're going to race through this segment. These are your biggest villains, all four of them. Dave Clawson / the Clawfence. His offense, which everybody was excited, he likes to get the ball to playmakers in space.
Really?
Which it's like as opposed to those coordinators who like to give it to guys in the middle of a scrum. Yeah. Get it to him in traffic. The Clawfence, which cost Philip Fulmer his job. Lane Kiffin, okay, do I really need to? The NCAA was sniffing around. He was a loudmouth. He embarrassment at the university, left after 1 year. Then he goes down to Alabama and beats you as an offensive coordinator. Awful. Nick Saban, well, national title at LSU in 2003, which fits our window, and Tennessee just can't beat him at Alabama. He's undefeated, he's won 10 in a row, and 4 national titles while he's been there. Steve Spurrier. This doesn't include his Florida stops, but he goes to South Carolina, immediately makes that a rivalry. His first year back in the game, he comes to Knoxville, and beats Philip Fulmer on Peyton Manning jersey night. So Spurrier, Saban, Kiffin, Clawson. Any surprises on that list? I mean, to me, that is your top 4. I think we got it right.
Oh, yes.
I had Dooley on there, so.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
You could maybe have Dooley instead of the Clawfence just because of the length of time they were here.
And
that's true.
Obviously, Clawson helped Fulmer get fired, and he came in with this switching the offensive line from one side to the other, depending on whether it was the wide side of the field, short side of the field. He got into that big argument with Arian Foster at the UCLA game. Foster wasn't any good after that. Clawson got mad about the whole deal. It was a mess.
Foster could have been on the villain list, I think.
Yes.
He was on mine.
He was on yours. We didn't get any other votes for him. Let me ask you this, though. Clawson, Kiffin, let's take Clawson out of it. That was just really bad for one short burst. Right. Kiffin, Saban, Spurrier. Biggest villain of those 3, who would you pick if you had to pick out of those 3?
That plays the part the best to me is Spurrier. And then he even had the audacity to quit right before they play you again. So you don't get to beat him that one more
Which
time
Bobby
here.
Scott always points out he's a quitter.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
Tennessee didn't win that game anyway.
Spurrier plays the part of the villain, but to me, Saban is the most damaging.
I would say that too, based on the 15-year period. If you went back further to when Spurrier came into the league, I would go Spurrier.
And he was the only thing in front of you when you were great.
Right.
Right.
But Saban's done it 10 years in a row. He also, well, of course, he did it in 01 against Tennessee. But I would go with Saban just because of his longevity of being a villain.
And yet I don't think, I agree, if you look at personality there, I dislike Kiffin more than I dislike Saban. I dislike Spurrier more than I do. I don't dislike Saban. I know a lot of people do. But to me, he worries about his team. He never talks smack about yours. He just beats you and beats everybody. So that's what makes him the villain.
Yeah, and Spurrier was kind of like the villain in a soap opera that gets killed off, and then you realize how much you miss him when he's gone.
I don't know about that. No. Yeah, and then he comes back and you remember
then he
real
comes
quick.
back, yeah. He wasn't dead after all.
Took him that one night. Everybody's in there. I mean, that was horrible. In that stadium that night, it's Peyton Manning's night. And Spurrier comes back and wins again, and that was the national story. That Manning still can't get a win when Spurrier's around.
And see, the Spurrier thing even goes back to his recruitment, when Tennessee was still doing single win.
All right, and the Sports Source wasn't around back then, but since 2003. When we come back, we'll run through the whole list of heroes and villains, but also 2 guys made the list on both sides, hero and villain. We'll explain. Come on back.